here we are.
I would just like to point out that we have yet another Game of the Year contender that came out since the last
Oh
time we met,
boy. Oh
Oh
boy.
boy.
which is The Walking Dead Destinies,
Ooh.
um, which to date is, I think, the greatest Walking Dead game that has ever come out. And in particular, this fight scene I just linked is of incredibly high quality.
All
Um,
right.
Let me see this.
you don't have to watch it now, but
Nope, too late.
oh, all right.
Ooh, nice PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Skip ahead a little bit. Let's say skip ahead to further.
I'm still in PowerPoint.
I'm already. Oh,
255. Skip ahead to
Oh, there we go.
250. Skip ahead to 250.
250. Jane kills Rick boss fight. For those of you at home. Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Damn, Rick's tough. Rick took like 4 shotguns to the face.
Taking like
Point
50
blank
shotgun
range.
blast right to the face.
Just point blank right to the face. And he's still moving around.
Just shrugged him right off.
I would like to let you guys. I want to let you guys guess what score this fine game has on Metacritic right now.
Oh boy. Well, with quality like this. Absolute
Yeah, but it's also The
polish.
Walking Dead, which is gonna have some hardcore fans, so that's gonna bump it up. Let's
Yeah, but
see.
are those hardcore fans going to
Yeah.
be really mad about it? I think it cancels it out.
Maybe.
This is back to shooting him point blank in the face. Oh
I think my
gosh.
favorite part of the boss fight is probably when he goes to grab something, and whatever he's saying is interrupted by him going "Finders keepers." That's gotta be my favorite.
Oh
No,
no, Rick's dead.
My favorite bit is the second
Yeah.
phase where the music just cuts out entirely for the entire phase.
Yeah, this game has a solid 29 on Metacritic, so
All right, I was
Woo!
gonna guess roughly 25.
yeah. So definitely Game of the Year contender, I would say.
There was a zombie, and now there's a zombie in the fight while he's beating Rick to death with a crowbar. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
So yeah, banger of a game. I've been enjoying
Incredible.
just seeing clips people have been posting that are just continuously more and more broken.
And then he beats Rick, and Rick's a zombie, and then he just pops him once in the head with a 9mm, which somehow does more damage
Yep.
than 4 shotguns to the face. The 9mm.
That was actually a 9-meter cartridge.
Ah,
Like
that
9
was, yeah, that
meter.
makes sense. Yeah, it's like that thing they used to kill cows when they're slaughtering them in the slaughterhouses. It's just a big
Exactly.
old iron bar. Yeah, do you know how they do that?
They take like the I know there's a little gun and they have it's like a metal rod. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it shoots through the cow's brain.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it because we have a slaughterhouse that we take our meat chickens to. And one time while I was there, they had a cow and they did that, and the cow just dropped.
Just straight up drops.
Straight up dropped. It was, I think that was the time that they had that it was like it was going to be kosher, so they had like a rabbi there to oversee the whole thing and do the blessing and everything. It was interesting.
Cool.
But enough about slaughterhouses and shooting not zombies in the face 25 times and zombies in the face
Yes.
once.
Yes.
We've had weeks, but
Um,
as you viewers can tell, we are unfortunately down one person again.
Yep.
yes, rip.
Which is unfortunate because I don't know if he's seen Digital Circus yet. And
Ah,
also,
yes.
he's
Did
the
he
only
do
other
his
person
homework?
that's played any of Tales of Symphonia, which is what I'm probably going to be talking about most.
Hey, I played like 30 minutes of that game.
Yeah, that's nothing. Do you realize how little that is in Tales of Symphonia? I'm still not done with the story.
I'm sure I'll find out how little that is of Tales of Symphonia as we get into your week.
Oh yeah, let me just yeah, I can just go ahead. You played 30 minutes. Let's see what my current playtime is. Where did it put it? $70 hours.
Woo!
I'm not done yet with the
And
story.
you're not.
It's still going.
Oh boy,
God dang.
that's a big one.
I mean, to be fair, I do take my time with RPGs, but
That is true. That is true. Except for Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3, I'm gonna go back to on New Game Plus, set it to like hard mode, and then take my time. I'm not done with The Witcher 3. I'm just taking a
Never
break.
done.
It's like, have you played The Witcher 3 recently?
I have actually.
Okay.
I
Okay,
picked
cool.
it up for a little bit to do a thing.
All right, awesome. I can actually talk about The Witcher 3 more.
Yeah, just a little bit. I didn't progress the story. I did side quests because it's The Witcher. It's Witcher 3, dude. Like the side quests are the reason you play that game. I'll actually have a little bit more. Wow, I'll actually have a little bit more to talk about in that regard than I thought because of a different game.
All right.
All right. Well, if you I made a cute little joke about our dear friend Jordan not being here in the description, but I do want the audience to know that he is not dead.
Yes, thank goodness.
He just can't make it today. He is fine as far as we're aware.
Yeah. He could have died in the amount of time since he sent the text to us this morning that he wasn't going to make it.
That's very true. He could have. I mean, anything could happen.
This is true.
We live in a crazy world. Anything could happen. But no, he's fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just busy.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'll talk about it in my week. Aaron. How's been
Yeah,
your
that's it.
month or so?
Yes, so my month or so. So I'll start off with what I played. So finished up Alan Wake 2. Banger of a game, goodness gracious. Um, that one is definitely probably top three, top five this year. Um,
Nice.
really, really freaking good.
Remedy only
Survival, one of
sometimes
the best
misses.
survival horror. What's that?
Remedy doesn't miss
Remit,
except for Quantum Break.
except for Quantum Break that one time. Yeah. But Alan Wake 2 is a banger. So glad they went the survival horror route. It was the natural evolution of the series, and survival horror is one of my favorite genres. So I was loving it all the way through. I'll say it's not too crazy difficult once you hit the end game because they just throw insane amounts of supplies at you. Though admittedly, I also had a special charm equip that made enemies drop more supplies, so that's also a possibility as to why I was receiving so many supplies in the end game.
Hmm.
However, Alan Wake 2, very, very good game. Recommend it highly. I would say it's a definite improvement on the first. I like the first, but the first really only had its story going for it. The gameplay was just kind of eh. So,
It was fine.
Alan Wake 2 is actually fun to play. So, I enjoyed that very much. Next, I played some Magic the Gathering with my buds. I don't remember if I mentioned it last time because I can't remember when I went to this, but I went to a tournament, or not a tournament, but like it's called a pre-release. Pretty much before they release their new expansion, um, they'll host a little like mini tournament where you'll pay like $30 at the entrance, and you'll get like a big deck of cards that you get to open. You get to mix and match. You get to build your deck based on the cards you pull and then play it. And apparently, I pulled some of the best cards in the entire set and played with
Nice.
those and got just crazy lucky. Won three of my four matches. Um, well, actually, I won two. I tied another, and then I lost one. Um, and that's very impressive for me because I had no clue what the heck I was doing. I was like, I don't know what works together. I just kind of mixed and matched at random based on what kind of looked good. Um, I also did the way Magic works is you have to use mana to pay for cards basically in order to play them. And mana is like it's hard to describe, but it's a special kind of card that's coded, and you play it, and then you can use it to cast cards. It's crazy. Anyway, um, I specifically went after two colors I really wanted, and then just stuck with that. I had a ton of fun. That was a blast. Yeah. Uh, Next in the order is Slay the Princess. Um,
Oh
I would
yeah.
say, I would say definitively indie game of the year for me. Indie game of the year. No question, no hesitation. Every year an indie darling comes out and I adore it. And this year it was Slay the Princess. This game is an utter freaking banger. It's incredibly cheap on Steam. I cannot recommend it enough. It is brilliant beginning to end, and I'm going to go back and replay it at some point because there's a lot of replay value because you can't get all the endings because there are multiple endings and multiple paths to take through the game. So it's like I want to see some more of that. So I'm gonna go back at some point and see some more of those paths, some more of those endings. Um, yeah, absolute banger of a game. I still think whatchamacallit, Hi-Fi Rush probably beats it out for game of the year for me. But definitely indie game of the year is Slay the Princess. Next, I finally got around to playing Armored Core 6. Fires of
Ah,
Rubicon.
Yeah.
It's been a couple months, and I was working through my list of my backlog of games, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, okay, Armored Core 6 is a game. It's a game that I have been wanting to play, so I decided to give it a try, and dang, that game is fun. That game is so much freaking fun. What the heck? Just literally building out your mech and just like making it all crazy and doing exactly what you want with it is amazing. I went with a dual minigun route, uh, which just obliterates. You throw on two miniguns, like you're unstoppable. You're a force of nature. Um, the game itself isn't really very hard. I mean, I didn't try the online multiplayer, which I'm sure would be considerably more challenging because people actually know what they're doing there. Um, but the bosses give you a little bit of difficulty, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. The regular enemies are zero challenge whatsoever. Um, yeah, so pretty much, yeah, I still had a ton of fun with it. Building the mech out is just so much dumb fun. I adored it. Um, yeah, Armored Core 6. Tons and tons and tons of fun. Next, I have been playing some Call of Duty, specifically the most recent release, Modern Warfare 3. Um, I've heard, pray tell, that the campaign sucks really badly.
That is what I've
I don't
also
know that.
heard.
Yeah, I have no idea because I have not touched it and probably won't. Didn't like MW2's campaign, so imagine based on these reviews that I probably will not like MW3's campaign. However, multiplayer is a ton of fun. I would say it is considerably better than MW2's multiplayer. Um, MW3 is all about speed. Um, Pretty much everything. You run faster, you run longer in the tactical sprint mode. Um, you can slide around all over the place. It's much faster than MW2, which I absolutely adore because I like breakneck speed, quick response times. That's like my bread and butter. So I am having a great time with that. But what I've really been spending a ton of time on is their zombies mode, um, which is probably my favorite zombies mode they've released since Black Ops 4. So that was what, like 5 years ago? It's so much fun. It's just so much fun. It's pretty much it's kind of like Warzone in the respect that you drop into a. I'll say it's more like Escape from Tarkov. It's an extraction shooter, um, and pretty much you drop into a big map and you complete contracts, which are like miniature missions. And there are three tiers. There's tier one, tier two, tier three, and in each tier, the enemies get harder and the rewards get greater. Um, Basically, the goal is to complete missions, which pretty much run in the background. You just have to do some random assorted stuff like kill 50 zombies with this specific ammo type or whatever. Um, so pretty much it's like um, it's I don't even know where I was going with that. A ton of fun. uh, my favorite part of it is is the schematic system. Pretty much, you can spawn into the game with a bunch of perk cola cans and different other things that help buff you. But you don't have them unlocked at first. Instead, you have to go into the map and pretty much you complete contracts. And when you do, you have a small chance of getting a schematic as a reward, which allows you to craft an item in future for future runs. The items are on a cooldown, so I think all the perks are on a 3 hour long cooldown. So you have to plan things accordingly. But it's so much fun just like trying to unlock all the schematics while completing all these missions while managing contracts. Um, like I just get so freaking pumped when I get a schematic. It's awesome. Um, but yeah, so much fun. So much fun. I'm having a blast. Blood on the Clock Tower is the last thing I played. I mentioned it before. Every Friday, I meet up with my all my buddies here, and we play what am I saying? We played Blood on the Clock Tower. We played it last night, and I won one game out of I think five. So I did great, absolutely stupendous. Um, I just got styled on so hard, um, but still had a ton of fun. Um, that's all I played. In terms of things I've watched The Bear. I finished up. I mentioned it the last time we met up. I finished up season one. I haven't gotten around to watching season two yet because I was distracted by a couple of other shows, which I'll get to in just a moment. But The Bear is an awesome show. The acting is exceptional. The story is exceptional. Everything about it is exceptional. Really good show. I'm glad it's getting another season. Um, Next, I actually dipped my toes into some anime after being away from the world of anime forever.
Ooh.
I watched Frieren Beyond Journey's End, um, which is basically it's a fantasy story, and there's this uh, elf woman named Frieren, and basically she and her adventuring party defeat the Demon King and bring peace to the realm. And basically, it jumps decades and decades into the future. And Freerin has unaged, but all of her party is old now. And pretty much it follows her and her adventures with a new party long after her previous party has died. And it's pretty much she's very cold and callous to the passing of time. And so it's kind of like she doesn't it's very melancholic because she basically she's kind of leaving her adventuring party behind, so to speak. And yeah, it's incredibly well written. The characters are awesome. Everything is absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, that's a really good anime. I think it's like the number 10 on my anime list right now. It's crazy. Um, so I would recommend checking it out. Um, that is number 10 anime of all time. Um,
Oh wow.
uh, yeah, a lot of people really like it, and for very good reason. Um, it's very, very good. Um, next, I've been watching Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, new Scott Pilgrim series,
Yeah.
which I will say nothing about because I don't want any spoilers. But if you're expecting just some more Scott Pilgrim based on the graphic novels, boy howdy, I would recommend you watch this. I would highly recommend you watch this because let's say some things have changed.
Hmm.
Some things have changed.
Hmm.
Yes.
I
That's
know
all I will say.
enough. I know enough about it that I could like mention another couple of pieces of media and like meant and that's exactly the same kind of thing it's doing.
Yeah. It is. It's really freaking good. I am like on episode 5, I think, something like that. By the way, Zach, you're coming through a little garbled again.
No.
Yeah, I'm hearing
Yeah.
Crackles too. It's just sorry.
Dang it. Ah. Am I Hold on. Is it any better?
Talk some
No,
more.
still hearing those
Hello.
crackles.
Am I here? Am I a robot?
Robot.
Dang it.
Yes, robot.
Ah.
Robot.
Well, uh okay. Are we still a robot?
I hear some crackles, yes.
A little better, but still crackly.
Yeah,
Why is
better,
it-
but still crackly.
Okay. Well, then that'll have to do. Sorry, audience. You'll just have to deal with me sounding a bit like a robot.
A lot like a robot.
Dang it.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I think it got worse. I don't know what you did
Oh.
with it, but it got worse.
Ah. Oh, hold on a second.
It sounded good for a second there. You said now hold on a second.
Okay, is this any better?
Yeah, that sounds
Oh,
good.
that's so much
actually.
better.
I don't know what I did.
Oh.
Oh, I heard the crackles again.
Oh, dang. Oh, come on.
No, they're
Ah.
back. Oh, sorry, they're back.
Okay, is it better now?
I heard
Hello.
one small pop, but it's
Yeah, but
oh, that's
sounds
better.
better for
That's
now.
better.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to hold the cord like this.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I think
Excellent,
you just
that's
gotta
awesome.
get a new cord for that thing. I think it's done.
Yeah.
This is the
I think
cord
it's
that
dead.
came with it. I got it just earlier this. I guess it's been a year. I hate these. I
Yeah.
hate like these. Is this a micro USB? I hate them so much. Well, I know it's not the microphone's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think
Wait,
you just
Zach,
gotta
were you-
get a new wire for it.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Wait, Zach, were you saying you've watched the new Scott Pilgrim?
No, but I've heard enough about it that I know what it's doing.
Yeah, it is an incredibly creative reimagining of the original, um, and an absolute must watch, especially if you've watched the original. Um, because I did not, I thought it was just a recreation of, I just thought it was another adaptation of the comics going in, and so I was going in, and the first episode proceeds as normal, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, and then it hits the end of the episode, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, hold on a second. Wait, that didn't happen.
That's not
I was
supposed to
like, wait.
happen.
Why? I was like, what? Yeah. It's awesome. I'm gonna finish it soon. But yeah, kind of fun. Um, next to note is NaNoWriMo. It was last month, 2 days ago. Ended two
Hmm.
days ago in specific. I was aiming for 50K words. Sadly, I did not manage that. I managed about 45K. Um,
That's nothing to
sadly,
sneeze at.
I know. Uh, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Um, but yeah, Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving the day after kind of threw me off a little bit. So, um, it's fine. I don't. I am very happy with what I have now. I'm gonna take a little siesta from writing for maybe another week or so, and then I'm gonna get back on it, writing 800 to 1,000 words a day instead of 1,600.
Hmm.
So downing my word count a little bit, but staying consistent because I do want to finish my novel, preferably by the end of January, but we will see how that shakes out. But yeah, NaNoWriMo is a ton of fun. It's the first time I've done it in years. Um, First time I've managed to successfully do NaNoWriMo. Uh, because the last few times I tried, I got like a week in, and then I ran out of ideas and I stopped writing. So last time I think I attempted it was 2017, so it's been 6 years. So I'm glad to get back on that horse. Um, but yeah, NaNoWriMo, awesome stuff, tons of fun.
And
Only
everything
last
I've read from your book and writing group is fantastic. So yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I've been just brainstorming. I've just been gardening. Originally, I planned to write out a full whatchamacallit, outline, full everything, plot everything out, write up all the world lore. But now it's just kind of at the point where I'm like, hey, what sounds cool? And that's pretty much like my guiding light now. What sounds cool? Um, and so that's pretty much what I go with. Yeah, glad you're liking it. I've been having an absolute blast writing. So much fun. Um, but yes. Last thing of note is what I've listened to. Wall Socket by Underscores. Um, Exceptional album. Is like a Gen Z fever dream, and I'm here for it. Um, Great banger of an album. I've been listening to it literally for weeks and weeks and weeks. I can't get it out of my head. It's definitely going up in the top list for albums of this year. Um, but yeah, that, as they say, is that. Covers everything I did. So, moving right along to you, Mitchell.
All right, let's see. I, surprise, surprise, have played a lot of Tales of Symphonia.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
well, well.
Yeah, imagine that. So I found the casino.
Oh no.
So
Have you
I'm
played anything besides the casino?
yes, I have played other things beside the casino. Basically because I beat the casino. I bought
Nice.
200 tokens. I walked away with like 500,000.
There you go.
So I
God
kind of
dang.
won because I figured out that I'm fairly sure that the luck stat of the character affects the luck of the slot machines. That the luck stat
Oh.
Ah.
actually affects it. So I went out and got like 2 accessories that like raise luck. Just found the highest person with luck and just gambled. I can't.
That'll do it.
Yeah, there. I can't guarantee that it does, but it sure did seem to help.
All placebo.
All placebo, but at the end of the day, I bought
Yeah.
200 tokens and I walked away with like 400,000 or 500,000. I walked away with a lot.
Can't argue with that.
And then I found a way to break the economy in the game by
Nice.
buying regular talismans and then going to the casino and cashing in my chips to buy a bunch of rune bottles to transform the talismans into higher level talismans and reselling them at a massive profit. I now also have like 1 million gold.
I thought this was
Okay.
a JRPG, not a frickin' Sid Meier's game.
Well, you know, sometimes I get distracted. That's partially why my runtime is currently 70 hours. I spent I spent quite a few hours just in the casino. So let's see. Last time I left off with Tales of Symphonia, we had met this new character, Mythos, who shares the name of a mythical hero of legend. Why?
The world may never know.
And yeah, guess what the plot twist is? Because at some point you get stuck in a dungeon, and Mythos shows up to save you in like one of the little airplanes that you get in the story. You get like a little flying machine to travel around in, and he shows up in one of those and helps save everyone. But no one knows where this plane came from. No one knows where it came from. Don't know where he got it. So that's weird. I wonder why.
I
And
wonder
then,
what his true identity is.
yes, I don't know. So then, let's see. I have to talk about the Shadow Temple, because at this point we are running around releasing seals of the major elemental spirits, trying to separate the two worlds. Because that's like what the story is, that the two worlds have to share mana and they're constantly fighting for the resource, so you're trying to separate them to stop the cycle of destruction. So I'm in the Shadow Dungeon to free the Shadow Elemental Spirit. And part of the puzzle is that the spirit has been shattered, and there's just like these little shadow blobs that you gotta guide together in the middle of the room. And these motherfuckers don't follow you. They just straight up don't. They do not. They just wobble. They follow your very vague general direction while also just wandering around aimlessly. It is a nightmare getting these little shits to turn a corner. And if you got more than one following you, it's a game of just like, okay, I got like 3 of them around the corner. There's 2 more that aren't coming around. I have to run up and try and reset them so that they're come around the corner, and pray that the 3 that I got around the corner don't escape the corner. God, that was so
Sounds fun.
bad. No, it's not. It's so bad. I hate it. I hate this. I hate this stupid dungeon. But I got past it. God.
There you go.
And I released the seal. And the whole time you've been doing this, Kratos, the guy who betrayed you, keeps kind of popping up and being like, maybe you should think this through a little bit more. Maybe this is a bad idea, and then just leaving without elaborating. So then we finally release all the seals, and what we learn is that in the middle, in between the two worlds, is a giant seed of mana that the final seed of the magic, the tree Yggdrasil, you know, the big Norse tree.
Yes.
That used to supply
Yes.
mana for both worlds endlessly. And with the seals removed, the tree suddenly sprouts and actually destroys some of the major cities. Oopsies. And you have to go like blast it with mana to like get it back into hibernation. Oops. And then Kratos shows up immediately and it's like, I told you this was a bad idea. Well, maybe if you weren't so fucking cryptic, I would have listened to you. It's one of those things where they show up and then explain the plot after you've already goofed. And it's like, maybe if you explain this beforehand. It's like, now that you've done the thing, Only now will I explain why that thing was actually a bad idea the entire time. Oh, and
Let's have a
also,
story where someone does call them out on that and says, "Hey, no, you didn't
no,
say
no, no, no,
anything."
no, 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 no. Yeah. Oh, and surprise, surprise, Mythos, the magical hero of legend, is actually the final boss. Whoopsies.
What?
Mythos betrays you, and he's actually the final boss. Whoa, who could have seen that coming? Oh no.
Mm.
Never saw it coming.
Never saw it coming. So why is he doing this? Because he's trying to resurrect his sister.
Uh-huh.
So the whole
He's trying to save the girl who called him Oni-chan.
yes.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I'm
the
not
whole
into
thing
that.
with like the chosen cycle of trying to find the chosen to like and all that is trying to find a vessel for her soul to reincarnate her.
Is one of your party members the vessel?
Yes.
Yes!
Yeah.
Called it.
Nice.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. You are traveling with the chosen.
Of course.
Of course. And he does capture her for a period of time and manages to resurrect the sister, and she wakes up and Amelia is like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Mythos does not like this and kind of just snaps. And then you have to fight him.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's like, yeah, I've seen what you've been doing the past like several thousand years. What the hell is wrong with you?
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, no, the sister's nice, and she's like,
Yeah.
no, because basically there's Mythos and his sister are half elves, and there's like a huge racial discrimination thing going on in the world. And her like dying
Ah.
wish was like, I wish that we could stop this discrimination. And Mythos is like, if I murder everyone, then
There
there's
will
no
be no more
racism.
There will be no more
people left to
racism.
discriminate.
And so when the sister comes back, she's like, no, you idiot, that is the wrong answer. What the hell? Why did you think I meant that? So yeah, Mythos kind of just snaps and you have to fight him, and that was a big difficulty spike that wasn't fun. Because there's not a good save point up to that point, so it's a long trek to get to the fight, and then you have to fight a boss fight before Mythos. So you have to fight two bosses in a row, and if you die, you get kicked back to the last save point. So it's just very, very stressful fighting him because he was two tapping my party.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, no, that was he was two tapping my party. He's got this fun attack where he just shoots a laser across the field and it stun locks you, and he likes to spam it. So even if you survive the first laser and you stand up, you will just immediately get hit by a second laser that you can't get away from. And
That's
because
great.
of how the battlefield's set up in like this weird 2.5D, you can't. It's like a 3D area, but you can't fully run in 3D. You kind of run in like a 2D plane along it. So it's hard to dodge the laser because you don't know where your character's going to run. Fortunately, I managed to beat him because there is an item that halves the damage you take, but it also halves the damage you deal. But at that point, I'm like, he's two tapping the party. I just need people to stay alive long enough for the healer to actually pop healing spells.
Yeah.
I imagine that was a long fight.
It was definitely a difficulty spike. And so I beat the final boss. And the game's not over because guess what? The worlds are still separated. So I'm not done.
Hmm.
But after fighting me,
Interesting.
so after fighting Mythos, I'm like, I'm gonna take a break. That was
Fair.
a sweaty fight. I'm gonna take a break and do something else.
But what did you decide to do?
What did I
Which
decide
game?
to do? What games? Let me check. I think I just played like a little bit of. What have I played recently?
By the way, Mitchell, I met someone. I was playing Magic with someone, and I was like, "Hey, what games do you like to play?" And they're like, Oh, I really like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Online. Or what is it called? Is it called Knights of the Old Republic?
The Old
Old
Republic.
Republic, I forget. The Old
Just the Old
Republic.
Republic.
He's like, yeah. And I was like, if my friend Mitchell was here, he would have had an aneurysm.
It was like, finally, there's dozens of us. Dozens. It's like, finally. But yeah, just like a little bit of like Assassin's Creed Rogue and whatnot, just doing that.
Yeah, the old classics.
The old classics. I also naturally have been playing more Star Wars: The Old Republic, doing operation runs and stuff.
There you go.
And I kind of goofed. I accidentally joined a random operation group that was doing veteran mode, which is the hard difficulty.
Oops.
Ah.
Oopsies. So this was a random group, so we didn't have Discord, so we were just trying to communicate over like the typing chat, over group chat.
No. Oh
And
no.
so
That's
I
right.
go in and I'm like, oh, this is veteran difficulty, which means that they add new mechanics to bosses. So I am like Googling mechanics on my phone in between the bosses, like, okay, what's coming up next? Oh god, oh god. And I'm like, okay, just try not to slow them down too much. We got through the operation, and then they sent me a message like, oh hey, we usually run ops on these days if you want to join again. So I'm like, okay, I guess I did good.
You've joined. You're one of them now. You're one of the sweats.
It's like, nope, I
Yes.
have not joined them again. I'm like, no, that was good. I don't like veteran mode. That's too sweaty.
It's calling to you, Mitchell.
But
Veteran difficulty. It calls to you.
nah, man, nah, I'm good. I play Star Wars for the story. Yeah, no, the class stories are fun though. So for the overall, like that's not like an outlandish claim.
Yeah.
But what I have been doing
It's
a
not
lot
like a
of,
WoW player saying it these days.
yeah, no. I think it'd be pretty similar to saying you play Final Fantasy 14 for the story. Like, yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah.
I just wish they would stop drip feeding us and actually drop a proper expansion.
There's not enough money in that. Look, they gotta stay under the radar over at EA so that
No, they
don't
got transferred
get
out of
canned.
EA, remember?
Oh yeah, they got transferred out.
They
So
got
maybe now that
transferred to
maybe
like a
now they'll
different
have a
development
chance.
team where MMOs go to die. So, or not.
Oh,
But Star Wars still has like a very loyal player base. So maybe now they have something to work with. But at the same time, this is the MMO. It's kind of, the company is known as like an MMO retirement home. Like, it may not
Oh.
happen anytime soon, but
eventually.
Star Wars has been put out to pasture.
Oof.
Well, it lasted a long time. Considering the launch of that game, I'm shocked it's lasted this long.
Yes,
Yeah.
it had a good run. It definitely had a good run.
Which means I need to hurry up and finish Knights of the Old Republic 2 so I can play this game before it dies.
You kinda do. Or you could just get straight to it.
It's not under the radar enough for. I don't foresee like a Pirates of the Caribbean online situation where people make a fan version after the fact. I don't foresee that happening.
No, there's some pretty dedicated fans. I would not be surprised if there's
also
fans,
EA
but it would probably
and
take years.
EA and Disney would be like, no, cease and desist.
I mean, there might still be fan servers. They just wouldn't be posting them.
Exactly, and I don't want to bother with that. You know,
it's like you would have to dig for
effort.
that. But yeah. So let's see. That's mostly what I've had time to play because, you know, Thanksgiving and having to visit with family. So that's mostly what I've played. What I've been watching. I've been watching the 1994 animated Spider-Man series.
Okay. That's
let
Interesting
me
choice for the year of our Lord 2023.
let me let me explain myself.
Look,
That was my
Okay.
introduction to Spider-Man.
Okay.
So when you
Ah,
say Spider-Man, my first instinct, my first thought is, oh yeah, the 1994 Spider-Man. That's like my go-to Spider-Man.
Your first instinct is shocker.
Joker, you won't escape me.
I'll chase you to the
To
ends of the
the ends
earth.
of the earth. Yeah, but yes, actually, yes, that is my first thought because that's great. Uh, Surprisingly, still kind of holds up. Like I still enjoyed it immensely. I like it.
Nice.
I like their version of Peter Parker. I like their Spider-Man. I like their interpretation of the villains. It's still surprisingly good. It's just a good Spider-Man. It's a good Spider-Man.
nice.
And because I've only seen like the first few seasons, and I'm like, oh, they had like 5 seasons. I want to check out more with that.
Ooh.
Because I never got into like the full Spider Verse, like arc that they had.
They had a Spider-Verse arc.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, they had a full-on Spider Verse arc with Madam Web and a bunch of alternate Spider-Mans.
Oh yeah, that's right. Madam Web was from that series.
Yeah.
And then it got canned before they
Cool.
could really do anything with it.
Yeah. Ain't that disappointing? Let's see. Other than that, I have been listening to some audiobooks at work. Where I listened to the
Ooh.
Coraline book.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
got through like the whole Coraline book in like one day.
Yeah. It's pretty short,
Yeah.
but it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I think I like the first half from the movie better of the with the slower build up and her having to take multiple trips.
Hmm.
But I like the second half from the book better.
Yeah, I
If
can
that
see.
makes,
I can see
if
it.
that makes any
I can see
sense.
it. Mhm. No, I get it.
Yeah, it feels more like a trap if she's going in and out multiple times before the trap is sprung, I feel.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
But yeah. I like Coraline. Wow. Like, wow, what a great children's book. For the kids.
For the
You
kids.
know, for the
For the
kids.
kids.
Not
And let's see.
scarring at all.
Only mildly.
Only in
Listen,
the good way.
it's healthy for kids to understand the fear of death at a young age.
Exactly.
How are they supposed to love life if they don't fear death?
Exactly. I'm always saying this.
It's like you can show kids anything as long as there's a happy ending.
Ah, that Don Bluth.
There you go.
It's like, hey, I watched Jurassic Park as a young kid. I turned out fine.
I, dude, I watched Jurassic Park as a kid, and it didn't bother me one bit because I was like, oh yeah, dinosaurs eat people. That's how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. To a kid,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, dinosaurs eat people. That's just nature.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
Like nature finds a way.
life finds a way. But let's see. I've also listened to a couple of Stephen King books, Mr. Mercedes and Finders Keepers, which is part of one of his trilogies.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're good little books. They're fun little. They're not really his. They're not really supernatural. There's no like his Stephen King supernatural stuff happening. It's more of like a detective story with like a retired police detective.
Neat.
So Mr. Mercedes follows the Bill Hodges, retired police detective, trying to solve his one of the cases that he left open when he retired. The Mercedes killer who ran down a bunch of people looking for at like a job fair with a Mercedes before he strikes again.
Hmm.
Hmm. How is Mr. King with the non-horror stuff?
It was alright. Like, it's still the very Stephen King thing where it takes 2/3 of the book just to start ramping up.
Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right.
But with the murder mystery kind of deal, that kind of works in his
Yeah, that
favor.
works.
The slow
It
build-up kind of
works.
works better. But yeah, not bad. I did like the characters in the book. That helps a lot. And then Finders Keepers I actually did really enjoy because it also follows Bill Hodges, but not nearly as much. It's more focused on I have to just go in and explain the plot. The idea is that this famous author, retired author living in the middle of nowhere, just collecting his royalties, gets robbed and murdered. And the guy who robs him is specifically looking for his notebooks that he's been writing in for like the past 15 years of unpublished work because he's such a mega fan that he wants just these unpublished works for himself to read. But of course,
This sounds like a horror movie based on the life of Bill Watterson.
I mean, maybe. Let's see. I mean, maybe. I don't know that much about Bill Watterson.
I mean, he's out in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, very true. Yeah, he is. He did kind of retire. Oh yeah, that's the Calvin and Hobbes guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he. But yeah. So of course, to hide from the police, he has to bury the notebooks for a little bit. But then he gets caught for another crime and sentenced to life in prison. And so like 30 years goes by, and another kid and like this random kid stumbles across the trunk with the notebooks and reads them.
No.
And then like 5 years later, the guy gets out on parole. Oh no.
Oh shoot.
That's great. That's a great premise.
It is a good premise. I
That is a
actually
good
would
premise.
recommend Finders Keepers to read. You don't really need to read Mr. Mercedes. You just need to know that Bill Hodges is a retired police detective. Like it's disconnected enough from Mr. Mercedes that you could enjoy it on its own. I actually really did enjoy it. And now on to the last audiobook I've been listening to that I haven't finished yet. I've been listening to the first book of the Kingkiller Chronicles.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have either of you read it?
I have read
I have-
The Name of the Wind.
All right. I'm
have
working
not.
through The Name of the Wind. I have definitely been enjoying it. So my decision to start the Kingkiller Chronicles is due to a band that I found named Ari, who have several songs kind of like loosely based on the Kingkiller Chronicles.
Oh.
They're like a side band of like the songwriter who is in Nightwish.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a band that has like several songs loosely based on the Kingkiller Chronicles. So it's like, oh, I should probably read that at some point. And I have very much been enjoying The Name of the Wind.
Mhm.
Very good book. It's one of those books where I'm like, any excuse that I'm like, oh, I need to do dishes. I could listen to more Name of the Wind while I do dishes. Just any excuse, I'm like, oh, I could knock out another chapter today.
Yeah, just don't it's unfortunately one of those books where you have to just go there's 2 books in this series and a novella, and that may be it.
Yeah, he hasn't finished the third one, has he?
No, he has not, and it
Nope.
has been, I believe, as long as we've been waiting for the Winds of Winter.
Oopsies.
Oof.
Yeah. Come on,
I
Ross,
knew that
finish it.
I knew that going in, so I'm fine because I'm just enjoying mainly the prose because boy, Patrick Rothfuss can write.
Yeah, it's super well written. I've super been enjoying it.
Absolutely gorgeous writing.
Well, we can only hope.
We can hope.
I mean, we can hope. I don't think Patrick Rothfuss has like as many uh diversions as as JR has.
As George, no, but he does have he has spoken a lot about mental illness issues, so he's
Yeah, that's
that's
gonna.
one of the reasons he hasn't gotten book. And yeah, it's there's been some controversies about that because he like promised a sample chapter and never released it, even though it was like a sample chapter that I promised for like a charity drive thing, and the goal was met, and he still hasn't released it.
Ooh.
So it's yeah, and it took him a long time to talk about it, but he's talked about it now. So there's like I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I can only hope.
We can only hope.
But other than that, I think that's everything.
Neat.
Nice. Good stuff.
Okay. Then I guess it's my turn. So I also did NaNoWriMo.
Heck yeah.
I'll start with that.
Yeah.
I ended with a little more than 20,000 words.
Nice. I
It,
still think that's a pretty darn good.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's pretty good pace as well for for me. But I don't really when I'm writing I don't really think I need to get this many words. I'm not at that point yet. If I ever go professional, then I'll do like the Stephen King thing of just get 20K or get 2K a day, do 2,000 words a
Yeah.
day, do something because that's just that you get the work done, and that's how that works. But for this book, I'm mainly looking at chapters, so I'm like, all right, 3 chapters a week, and if I get that, I will be able to finish this book before the end of the year.
Nice.
So I am racing to the finish line. I'm almost there, and I can taste it, and it's just motivated me to get to just keep writing. But like yesterday,
Heck
I wrote
yeah.
and yesterday I wrote almost another 1,000 words, even though it wasn't NaNoWriMo.
Nice.
That's been fun. That's been going well. Not much to talk about there. I mean, work is work. I'm finally at the point where I'm like getting used to it, used to the workload. So that's good. Almost done with the semester. So I was looking forward to I was counting down the days to Thanksgiving break, and now I'm counting down the days to Christmas break. But I really only have to plan one more lesson. Everything else is pretty much planned out till the end of the year because we have a bunch of testing at the end of the semester. So, so that's good. I also got invited to go on to help chaperone the summer trip that the junior high kids are going on.
Oh, cool. Where
Yeah,
y'all going?
we're going to DC and New York.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll
Dang,
be
that's pretty
fun.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like the lady who was in charge of it, she's actually my mentor teacher. She was talking to me about it. She had wanted my friend to go, but he wasn't sure if he'd be able to do it, so he recommended me because they want another male chaperone. And so she was telling me about it, and honestly, as soon as she said it was going to DC, I was like, yeah, I'm on board because DC is such a cool
Yeah.
place, and I've only been once. Even then, I feel like I barely even touched it. I mean, when we went on our DC trip in 8th grade, we didn't even go to the Smithsonian at all.
Yeah.
So I'm even if we don't go there this time, I'm down to see DC. It's a beautiful city. And then
Yeah.
she said that we were going to go to New York, see some of the main tourist stuff, and also see a Broadway show. I'm super down for that, of course. and it's all my expenses are paid. I don't have to pay anything.
Nice.
Cool beans.
I am super down for a trip like that for the low price of free 99. Even if I have to chaperone a bunch of kids on the way, that's fine. Because most of the 8th graders, they're all right. They're all right kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So then in terms of stuff I watched, of course, my lunch break and is always spent watching classic Doctor Who.
There we go.
So I've been watching a bunch of that, working my way through the John Pertwee years. So it's all 1970s Doctor Who. This version of the Master, the first time the Master ever shows up is during John Pertwee's era. He's my favorite. I've seen 3. He's the 3rd version of the Master I've seen. There's 2 that I've seen in modern Who, and Roger Delgado, who plays him, who was the first guy who played him. He's my favorite. He's absolutely fantastic. He has gets both the villain side of the Doctor and the I really want to be best friends with the Doctor again. He's got that. He's got that down very well, and he and John Pertwee work off of each other phenomenally. So much fun to watch. And like I think I mentioned last time, before they established later on in Pertwee's run that they were friends in school, and they were like old time friends before they met in the show, or before the Master shows up in the show. But that wasn't established right away. But they still have that chemistry right away in the show, so that's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I've seen some crap episodes and some great episodes. So it's just like Doctor Who.
There you go. Wouldn't be Doctor Who without that experience.
Wouldn't be Doctor Who without that experience. And I'm watching it. It's really nice. Once again, I'm saying it again. It's nice to be able to watch an entire season of Doctor Who now, because that's not the case with the 1st and 2nd Doctors.
Yeah.
But with 70s Doctor Who, the effects are sometimes really impressive, sometimes absolutely terrible, and it's just so much fun to watch. John Pertwee, as always, is just a joy to watch. He's having a blast. He's so charismatic all the time, and he's even when the episode is kind of crap, he's having a good time. He's a ton of fun to watch, and his longtime companion Jo Grant is also just a ton of fun to watch. She's fun, and they work off of each other really well. I watched a bunch of that, and I found another show on BritBox to watch, so I'm justifying that subscription even more.
There we go.
Not just a classic Doctor Who app. So I watched the show called. Well, first off, I finished the 1st season of The Thick of It, which is the Armando Iannucci show that the American version of it is Veep.
Yeah.
Just dumb people in the government, just dumb government bureaucracy crap, and that show's great. That show's really great, and that is Peter Capaldi's most well-known role before he was the Doctor, which was why people were really confused when he was cast as the Doctor, because Capaldi's character in The Thick of It is just known for screaming the F word all the time.
That.
And then people found out that he's just a lifelong Doctor Who fan, and so him being the Doctor is great. So that's a fun show. I'm gonna watch more of it at some point. But I found another really good British comedy on there. It's a show called Staged, and it stars David Tennant and Michael Sheen.
Ooh.
Who I know you, Aaron, would know from Good Omens.
Good Omens. Yep.
Yes. So this was made after at least the first season of Good Omens, and it was made during the pandemic, during lockdowns. And so the whole thing is filmed with either at-home cameras or through Zoom.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's Michael Sheen and David Tennant are playing fictionalized versions of themselves where they are they were about to be in a production of 6 characters in search of an author, and then the pandemic happened and it had to be shut down. But the director, it's going to be his big break. He's working with really well-known actors, so he goes to David Tennant and Michael Sheen and says, "Hey, could we maybe like do rehearsals over Zoom, and then afterward we'll be like when everyone's still like trying to get back up and running, we'll be right out the gate ready to go once as soon as lockdowns lift. We have like maybe a week of rehearsals and then we're good to go." And then it's just a ton of great comedy with that, some really funny cameos. Like they get some celebrity cameos in there that are just a ton of fun, and you can tell that the actors were having a ton of fun with it, just being able to do something during
That sounds like
lockdowns.
that sounds like so much fun. That
Oh,
sounds
it is.
amazing.
It's great. It's a ton of fun. And then there's like little plot lines and plot threads that go on through it all. So like it's not just David Tennant, Michael Sheen, and the director who are main characters. It's also the director is crashing at his sister's house, so she's a major character. David Tennant and Michael Sheen's wives are major characters because there's stuff going on with them. They're trapped in their houses with their family.
I
And
love
some
that.
of the celebrity cameos were just like I was shocked to see them, and it was hilarious.
I have to check this out now. This sounds like fun.
It's great. It's great. And then the second season gets even more meta. Like the first season, they'll play around with like the title, the title and the title of the episodes and starring. They'll even play around with that for gags. They're very willing to just take everything that's weird about the show itself and just use it for a gag. And then the second season gets really meta, where it's like the second lockdown, but it's not continuing the show. It's acknowledging that the first season was a show, and then they're doing another meta storyline.
That's awesome. I love that so much.
It's so good. I think there's like 3 seasons of it, and it's a ton of fun. But yeah, and the second season, like part of the plot is that the U.S. people in the U.S. want to make an American version of the show. So yeah,
sounds about right.
yep, sounds about right. So yeah, it's a ton of fun. I also finally went back and finished, not on BritBox, but on HBO. I went back and I finally finished John Adams.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember you talking
Yeah.
about that a while back.
Yeah, a while back. That show ends very well. It's fantastic, and I had completely forgotten that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson died on the same day, which was the 50th anniversary of the states.
I did not know that.
They both died on July 4th, 1826. It's an absolutely phenomenal series. Just great actors all around, great writing. There's a really, and they acknowledge like the more controversial parts of the people's lives that some have gotten more controversial as time has gone on, but that's because as time goes on, we find some things more controversial and then other things more controversial. Sometimes one founding father's a hero, sometimes another founding father's a hero.
Yeah.
But like there's one thing, because Thomas Jefferson's one of the bigger characters in the show, because he and John Adams have a really interesting relationship where they're friends for a while and then they start to drift apart, and then after both of their presidencies are done, And after John Adams' wife dies, they kind of reconnect, and then they write a bunch of letters back and forth until they died. And so, but before that happens, before they're reconnected, after like the whole Sally Hemings controversy like was brought at was like came to light. Thomas or not Thomas, John is having a conversation with his son. They're talking about like legacies and everything. And he says, Thomas is going to only be remembered for Sally Hemings, and I'm only going to be remembered for the Alien and Sedition Acts. And it's really unfortunate because he's almost right about it.
Yeah.
But the episode where it's all the whole episode is just the Adams administration. It's real. They portray the Alien Sedition Acts really interestingly because we blame John Adams for that, but those were brought up by the Congress at the time.
Yeah.
Because the president doesn't bring in acts like and executive orders at the time were not really a thing. The president was very much like not the position it is now, not the all important position it is now. So they portray like John Adams really struggling with, should I even what do I need to do? What are my options here? So it's really interesting, and Paul Giamatti plays John Adams really, really well. Series is also directed by Tom Hooper, who I know from The King's Speech and the most recent Les Mis movie.
Nice. I didn't know
that. Yeah. And also Cats.
Oh. Yeah.
This is significantly better directed than Cats. But he's.
Are you sure?
But are you sure though?
I forgot. Cats is a masterpiece.
Yeah, don't forget Cats was written by Space Clowns.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. That's true. It was written by Space Clowns. Oh, I do have something else to talk about with clowns later on, but I'll get to that. Let me finish up John Adams. But Tom Hooper, I really like his directing in both The King's Speech and John Adams. He gets really close to the actors, but it does like it's used very well in both of those. Sometimes it's used to make things very uncomfortably close, which is what he's going for. So it's done very well. And in John Adams, like you do get to see like their teeth look really gross because they didn't have the best oral hygiene back then. They didn't have your nice Sonicare toothbrushes.
Yeah.
So I highly, highly recommend John Adams. It's one of my favorite shows. Great. And the next like big long episode show that I'm going to watch, but I haven't found the time to sit down and watch an episode of, is one on BritBox called Sharp. It is based on a series of novels by the same guy who wrote the novels that that Netflix show The Last Kingdom is based on. Sharp is a show that stars Sean Bean, and it's all Napoleonic stuff. And I've heard very good things about it, so I'm planning on watching that. The issue is every episode is an hour and a half long, at least.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, they're just full movies at this point. So yeah, looking forward to that, but I'll get there in a bit. Another thing I did watch, what's his face, the Digital Circus, whatever thing. I did my homework, Mitchell. I did my homework.
Are you saying you watched the Digital Circus?
Yes, I did watch the Digital Circus.
Hey.
There we go, baby.
Yeah, that's good. I can see why this would become a show that immediately gets a giant, awful fan base that you just want to shut up about it.
Yes.
It has all the hallmarks of that, including actually being very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I want
Yeah.
to. And it's one of those that I'm just going to forget about until I see more. Until
Yep.
more comes out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair.
Well, people that made it glitch also have murder drones.
Yes.
Oh boy. What?
But they have other animated series that they've helped make, such as Murder Drones.
Yes. Different creator and
Different creator,
actors and
Liam.
everything like that.
Say what you will about Liam, he's very consistent with his character types.
Yes.
The man likes his murderous waifus. He's had like 3 different animated pilots, and they're all based around murderous anime waifus.
That sounds about right, based on what I know about murder drones.
He's very consistent.
Can't fault him for that.
You could look up his other pilots. I'd have to Google them real quick.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
So that's it for what I watched as far as I remember. As for what I played,
I got the 2 other pilots, Cliffside and Internection Cube. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I don't think it's a real word.
Probably
That
not.
does not sound like a real word.
But yeah, just look up Liam Vickers animation. He's got his pilots up there.
Yeah, there it is. Internection.
No idea. Internection?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a real word.
I don't think that's a word. Anyway, as for what I played,
Internation. Now.
Internation.
Mutual Destruction. Massacre.
Oh.
You know, that makes sense, actually, for what that show is. For what that pilot shows. Actually, makes perfect sense.
Well, there you go.
Vocab word of the week.
All right. As for what I played, I continued playing the same 3 games as last time, so put some more time into Baldur's Gate, got out of the creche.
Did you readjust your wire? It's getting real crackly again.
Oh, okay, is this good?
A little bit better.
Hello.
Oh, that's way worse. Nope, worse.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Okay, good. Hold it.
It's good. It's good.
Good enough.
Yes. Okay, good enough. All right, so I continue playing.
Just keep going.
It got worse.
We're done.
Oh.
Just keep going.
How about now?
Okay, hold it. Good. Go.
Dang it! I tried to set it to where I didn't have to hold it physically, but now I do. Oh gosh. I hate
Just
these
go.
wires. Anyway, I played some of the same games. I played Baldur's Gate, more Baldur's Gate. Still in Act 1 because this game never ends. I left the creche. I got out of there. Only some blood was spilled, but I made it out. Actually, I think that was the main thing I did, because then I explored around the whatchamacallit, the temple that the creche is under for a bit, and then I moved away from there, and that took me like a couple hours because this game is huge. I beat Mario Wonder.
Hey.
What a fantastic game. Now, I beat it on Thanksgiving, and right when I started the last cutscene, my Switch battery started to die, so I put it on sleep mode and had it charging, and I haven't finished the cutscene yet, so I do need to do that.
Very nice.
And what was the other game I was playing? the other game? Hold on. Hold on. Let me pull up. Let me pull up the Steam. Pretty sure it was a Steam game. No, 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 it wasn't. It was Lies of P. So Lies of P continues to be fantastic. I did talk about Lies of P last time, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Assuming you started playing it before November 2nd.
I'm pretty sure I did. That game, the Pinocchio Dark Souls game.
Yes.
Pinocchio Bloodborne Sekiro game.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It is just as good as any of FromSoft's games. It's one of the few Souls-likes that is like just as good as FromSoft. Absolutely fantastic. Got some really interesting systems that it plays around with. Ton of fun. Levels are really well designed. It's much more linear than most Souls games, but it's very well done. Bosses are very well designed. For the most part, I mean, there's a couple that are just but that's the way it goes with these kinds of games. But there is a boss fight that has ads in it that is better than any boss fight with ads in a FromSoft game. So it's
Good,
not.
because
It's not.
I do absolutely hate boss fights with ads in them. So if you say it's good, I believe you.
It's fantastic. So it's not a full multi-boss like ONS, but it has like your main boss that you fight for a bit, and then someone else will jump in, and then the behavior of the main boss changes to account for that. Unless you get close to him, he'll only do one attack that has a very clear audio cue. So it's great. It's very, very well designed. My brother has beaten it because he has more time to play games than I do. I'm pretty close to the end. I believe it's going to end up being the second to last area of the game, although I've heard the last area is quite long. But it's great. I'm very much looking forward to completing this game because I've heard it ends very strong. Which is unfortunately not something I can say about most FromSoft games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat that pretty soon. I have played some other games though. I started playing Diablo 1.
Okay.
I heard about because I watched Ackman's video on Diablo 1, and he talked about a really good mod for the game that gives a lot of good quality of life features, like being able to increase your movement speed in the town, because otherwise you're just walking slowly across town every single time.
Yeah.
It adds a chest, a stash, a private stash in the town, so you're not limited to your main. So you're not having to drop everything in the middle of town. So
Oh, you just got
'cause
so
you can,
much worse. You just got so much worse.
Oh no! Hold on. Is this good?
No.
Oh no! Dang it! Is
Nope.
this better? Is this better?
Nope. Nope.
How about this?
Nope.
Oh no! How about this?
Nope.
How about now?
Nope.
How about now?
No.
It's not crackling that much for me, but
Perhaps now.
Nope.
Maybe this.
Nope.
Oh boy, this is a great podcast. How about this?
like I don't know, it's not crackling that much for me.
So is it just a little crackly, but not that bad?
Oh, it actually might be me. Hold on.
Oh,
Mitchell sounded a little garbled, so let me leave.
Oh no.
Well, hello?
Okay, that's much better. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
We're professionals.
Yes, very professional. So anyway, uh, it, the with Diablo 1 originally you had to just if you wanted to not sell something but didn't want to have it on you, you had to just drop it in the middle of town. But the Beelzebub mod adds in a stash that you can actually store that stuff in. It adds in some cut content, including like some cutscenes that had to be cut from the game. Uh, it just makes everything so like much smoother, adds in quality of life stuff. It's really nice, and the game is very fun. Diablo 1 is a very fun game. It's also hard as balls.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm playing as a sorcerer, which is supposed to be like the easier class to play the game. Playing that game as a melee character, at least on the first couple runs, is freaking insane. At times, it just becomes a bullet hell.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to deal with that. I wanted to cast some magic. I'm
Totally fair.
I'm at level 10 out of I think 16, or I might be at level 12 actually. So I'm getting through it. And I'm following a thing so that I don't miss a ton of content or don't hit a bit of content too early. And it's fun. It's a fun game. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'll have to figure something out with it because of a thing that I need to talk about. So I had some uh, technical issues that had nothing to do with the cord that I'm using.
Ah.
So the reason there were some technical issues is because I had to turn on my PC and get it going again because I tried to get it set up. I realized I didn't have the files for the podcast all set up on my new PC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finally got an upgrade. So Black Friday had some really good deals. And I saw on Amazon that there was a pretty nice Corsair PC for 1,500, and I was like, oh, that sounds good.
Pre-built. Ugh.
Yes, I don't care.
How could you?
Dude, I don't care either. Mine's pre-built too. You know
And
I
so
don't
is
care.
mine.
I know you don't care. I know you don't care, Mitchell. You know the nightmare of, oh dear Lord, it's not working. Where's the one thing that's messed up?
I know. It's like it took me like 3 days to just mount a new hard drive, a second hard drive on it, because it's just like, oh god, I'm missing a wire. What fucking wire is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that, so I saw a pretty nice Corsair PC on for 1,500 on Amazon. I was like, yeah, let me go with that. So I ordered it, and then the next day when I was out on actual Black Friday shopping, we went to Costco, and there was an iBuyPower one for 1,000, and I looked up the specs, and it was actually just straight up better than the Corsair one I had ordered.
Oh shoot.
And then I remembered after the fact, Corsair is a bit of a luxury brand.
Mm.
So they make good stuff, but it's at a premium. So I canceled that order, and then I bought the iBuyPower one from Costco, and it is very nice. It's very nice. Everything runs smoothly. I can play games at the graphics that they're meant to be at.
Nice.
I
What
can
what kind
play.
of graphics card did you get with that?
It's got a 4060, I believe.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
I mean, I will say that a lot of people have complained about the 4060, but I've heard it's still pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's it's great for me. I have no complaints because I'm jumping from a 970
Yeah, that's totally reasonable.
So even if there are issues with it, I'm not gonna notice them.
I know. All of the 40 series cards are utterly insane.
Hmm.
They're great.
Yeah, it's great. It's I can actually play games that I've had on in my Steam library for ages.
Yeah.
I can play Vermintide. I can play Total Warhammer. I can play the other newer Total War games.
Nice.
And I need to get Hi-Fi Rush now because I can play that.
Yes.
You must. Before the year is out.
Or the year is out, so it can compete with Game of the Year.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Liza P is looking to be maybe my Game of the Year. It's gonna be Baldur's Gate 3, but Liza P is fighting for that spot.
I understand that. Yeah.
I completely
heard
forgot
Liza P is
a game that
pretty
I played.
Oh, what is it?
My
Oh,
Breaking Tales
lay it on
Symphonia.
us.
So I wanted to refresh myself. So I played Stray, the cat game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stray. That's such a cute little game.
Adorable.
Yeah. I really enjoyed my time with Stray. The environments in that game are just utterly gorgeous.
Yeah, the environments are gorgeous. I like just being a cat, knocking people over.
Yes.
Just a good little refresher after a very sweaty boss fight in Tales of Symphonia.
Yes.
Speaking of games that have gorgeous environments, I got a game that I had been wanting to play for a while but couldn't because my PC would never be able to run it. I got Warhammer 40k Dark Tide.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, made by the same people who made Vermintide, except this one's in 40k instead of Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
Dark Tide is a lot of fun. Now, I heard Bricky, a YouTuber named Bricky has some really good videos on Dark Tide, and he was really positive on the game when it first came out. He got what he wanted from it, but a lot of people complained that it didn't really have a ton of content. But it's been almost a year now since the game came out, and they've done really good on the content side. So there's plenty for me to sink my teeth into. There's also, because they just had a fairly big update, plenty of people who are new to the game. So I'm not holding back my team. That's a lot of fun. Have any of you looked at Dark Tide at all?
Not really. I don't follow 40k.
I know of it.
It's a Left 4 Dead style game.
Okay.
But it's in Vermintide, which is made by the same people who made Vermintide. They're both more melee focused than Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead, melee is just to get people off you mainly. Dark Tide has more guns than Vermintide, a bit more focus on guns because one of the classes you can choose is the veteran, who the veteran's main thing is just shoot, bang, bang, and then sometimes melee. You hit the Nurgle zombies with a shovel. So you can choose. You create your own character, and you create a little backstory for the character. So you're a death row convict, and that could be anything from you committed a really bad crime to you were there when you were unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time and chaos was there, so you got to go. Or it could be you looked at a nobleman the wrong way, and now you're on death row. But you get a second chance and to prove yourself, and you're going into this hive planet that is in the middle of being overrun by Nurgle cults. And Nurgle was the correct chaos god to choose for this, because Khorne cultists and demons would be a bit generic. Tzeentch, I don't even know how you would portray Tzeentch demons and cultists properly, because Tzeentch is all about trickery and weird schemes and eldritch nightmares. And Slaanesh, you couldn't do Slaanesh and have this game still be rated M. The Slaanesh is all about the excess in the sensual pleasures.
There you go.
So Nurgle's all about rotten decay, so you can have zombies, but they look more demonic, and all the demons that show up are weird, gross demons that are just rotting and decaying. So it's a great choice for Chaos God there. And you're going into this Imperium Hive world, so you get just gorgeous environments because 40K. Fat Shark really knows how to do 40K environments. They did a phenomenal job. The ship you're on, called the Morning Star, but morning is spelled like you're mourning someone. It's a great name, fantastic name. The ship looks exactly like it should, where everything in the Imperium should look like a Gothic cathedral mixed with a factory. And that's what it looks like. It's great. You can choose from 4 different classes. The Veteran, like I mentioned, is just shoot, shoot, bang, bang, and sometimes melee. The Zealot, which I chose, who is just, the God Emperor is the greatest of all. I worship the God Emperor. You will worship the God Emperor. I will slay you, heretic. And that character is all about melee and sometimes shooting. Just just go off sometimes on your own and just cleave through hordes of enemies.
Yeah.
Of course, I imagine some people would get frustrated at Zealots for doing that because you get a bonus to a lot of you can get bonuses to stats by sticking together as a group. And one of those things is you have 2 health bars, your actual health bar and then your temporary health bar, and that one recharges through melee kills and being close with your group. And the more people that are close by, the faster it recharges. So you want to stick together as a group. But if you're a Zealot, you're doing all melee combat anyway, so you don't necessarily need to if you're good enough. But I stick together with my group. Then you can also choose a Psyker, and the Psyker is just essentially the mage of the group. You get weird powers. You can pop enemies' heads. You can shoot chain lightning and things like that. And then you have the Ogryn, and the Ogryn is an abhuman that looks like an ogre. They are big. They have more health than the other classes. They are bigger, actually just bigger than the other classes. Their weapons are big and slow. And their grenade, all the classes have different grenades, and the Ogryn's grenade is they just throw a box of grenades. Unprimed. Great. And you can even upgrade, you can even get an upgrade where instead of throwing a box of grenades, the Ogryn just throws a brick. They just throw a rock.
Yeah, that sounds great.
It's great. It's a ton of fun. And in the character creation, you can choose between 3 different voices for your character, and they have I think other than the Ogryn, they have male and female versions of all of them, so that's a ton of fun. And all the voice acting is fantastic. It's so good. Like the writing and the story of the game, it's whatever, but the writing for the voice lines of your characters are so good, and the voice acting is perfect, just spot on. Like my character has just the thickest Scottish accent, and he's just constantly talking about how we're going to purge the heretics, and if you just have to serve the God Emperor enough, and that will get us through if he wills it. Things like that. It's so much fun. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing that. I dipped my toe into Vermintide, and oddly enough, even though I love the Skaven, the rat people in Warhammer Fantasy, they're my favorite faction in anything Warhammer. I love the Skaven more than I love Warhammer or Warhammer 40K. I think Vermintide is okay. I feel like it's one of those games that would get better the more time I put into it. But right now, I prefer the way that Darktide plays. So for the time being, I'll keep it downloaded and maybe dip my toe in a couple more times, because there's one of the classes You can unlock the character. You have four different characters, and they, as you level them up, unlock new classes that function a little differently and get different weapons. And one of them for one of the characters is a Grail Knight, which is a type of knight from Bretonia. And from what I've seen of that, that looks like a lot of fun. Just give up all ranged options and just be a holy Arthurian knight.
Ooh.
That sounds a lot of fun to me. That appeals to me. So I might dip my toe into that a couple more times to see if I can get that. But I'm probably going to be spending most of my time with Darktide. That's just a lot of fun. I have heard Darktide gets a little grindy though, because some of the stats for weapons, like it's really not worth buying weapons until you max out a character, which is level 30. So that might end up being a bit grindy, but for the time being, it's a lot of fun. I also, with my new PC, I dipped my toe into a couple of other games just to see the graphics. So, like games that I've played but haven't really been able to play like properly. So let me pull up my Steam quick so I can look at recent games. Yeah, so I popped back in Doom 2016. It actually looks good and
classic.
runs really well now. It's so nice. And yeah,
God, what a great
game's
game.
fantastic. Great game. Love it.
Yeah.
I should actually beat it at some point.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, I popped back in The Witcher 3.
Hey.
Did some
There we
side
go.
quests. The next gen update looks great. Game runs well. It's Witcher 3. It's Witcher 3. What do you want me to say? It's a great game.
Witcher 3, it's good.
Good. It's very good. And speaking of, I play Witcher 3 for the story and the side quests and everything, not necessarily for the gameplay. That's the reason why I don't really care about any Assassin's Creed game after the one I'm currently playing, which is Mirage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You decided to pick up Mirage.
I did decide to pick up Mirage because it's a budget game. It's not full price. And it's Ubisoft going, all right, we're going to go back to the old formula one more time. After this, it's all Valhalla style games because Valhalla made a ton of money.
Yep.
And I don't care about Valhalla or really even Origins or Odyssey, because I like Assassin's Creed to be an Assassin's Creed game, not discount Witcher 3.
Yeah. I got to like the first boss in Origins and said ew, and then uninstalled and refunded.
Yeah, Mirage takes place before
Fair.
Assassin's Creed 1. It's during the golden age of Islam. You're in dang it, what's the city? I forget. Hold on, let me look at the back of the box. Does it tell me?
Istanbul?
Baghdad.
Baghdad. Okay.
You're in Baghdad. Your main character is Basim, and Basim's really fun. He's a good character.
Nice.
You're a member of the Proto Assassins dealing with the Proto Templars. The story so far is pretty good. Voice acting's great. They use the actual Arabic language more often than like say Assassin's Creed 2 does Italian, because mainly Assassin's Creed 2 they'll do it for he'll say bene, or he'll curse in Italian, or there'll be like one line where it's in Italian. Mirage uses Arabic words like frequently, and it's just like occasionally there will be a word here this is an Arabic word. This is what it means, and so it's a lot of fun. And the little codec entries that you get that tell you about all the life in Golden Age of Islam and Baghdad and everything. Those are a lot of fun to read. They're very well written.
Yeah, one thing, say what you will about Ubisoft, one thing they've always really gotten right on the Assassin's Creed games, especially the most recent ones, have been historical accuracy
Hmm.
for the most
uh,
part.
let's just ignore Valhalla.
Mhm.
Oh, did Valhalla mess it up? I didn't even know.
Oh, Valhalla is just atrocious. Like there's Christian churches that are called pagan temples.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, Valhalla is just we don't care. Let's just make everything look like Vikings, like what you think of
Okay.
Vikings.
Yep. No historical accuracy.
That's such
Just
a weird.
you don't care. We
That's such a
don't
weird.
care.
Yeah, that's such a weird pivot after Origins and Odyssey, which were
Hmm.
they went so far above and beyond with real or with historical accuracy that like their walkthrough, their digital walkthrough of the city was like
Hmm.
put in
Hmm.
museums.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Valhalla abandoned that almost entirely, unfortunately.
Oof.
But Mirage goes back to that. There are some anachronisms, some things that hey, this didn't appear until like hundreds of years later, but it's more to get a
Yeah.
big like picture of the golden age of Islam.
Yeah.
Show like a city of that and to show like all the things, just pulling a couple things here and there from later on or earlier on, just to have like a one big like beautiful city that is this is a good representation of the whole period.
Yeah.
So the anachronisms are pretty well justified, I'd say, in that regard. It's a good use of artistic license and historical anachronism. So I'm gonna play more of that. That's a fun game. I'm also going to pick back up Yakuza Kiwami because it's a Christmas game. The
Mhm.
games all take place at Christmas, therefore it's Christmas.
I was
There
kind
you
of
go.
interested for Assassin's Creed Mirage, but then I saw the trailer where you just like highlight 5 enemies and then you just teleport, stab them in the back, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know how much I'm gonna use that ability because I like to play Assassin's Creed.
I like to play the game.
Hmm. But the first little mission that you get where it's like, hey, go steal these papers from the docks. This little manifest, ship manifest. Go steal that. It felt like an Assassin's Creed stealth mission, and
Nice.
that was fun. The combat is I like it probably about as much as Unity or Syndicate. It's different from the old combat, but you have a counter and you have a dodge. Some attacks can be countered, some attacks have to be dodged, and that's about it. And you
Yeah.
have a light and a heavy attack,
Yeah.
which that feels like a faster version of Unity and a slow version of Syndicate. Not so much like Origins uh, well, I've only played of the modern ones. I've only played Origins, so it doesn't really feel like Origins as much. But yeah, after this, unless something drastically changes, I have no more interest in Assassin's Creed. Is a shame.
Yeah, I've just been slowly going through Rogue because that's the last one I have an interest in. I do know that I don't like Unity.
Yeah, yeah, which is
Just did not
unfortunate.
click with me.
Yeah, you could maybe give Syndicate a shot.
Yeah, I feel like Syndicate's probably too much like Unity.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh no, I have actually read a little bit. I've been reading the comic Injustice.
Okay.
The comic, as in comic book.
Yes, the comic book
Okay.
Injustice. Yeah, and that's fun. That's a fun comic. I like Elseworld stories. Um, this one's a lot darker and more grim than something like Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come got dark at times, but it wasn't like just kind of grim like this. But it is fun to see a what if Superman what if Superman had the worst thing in the world ever happen to him and then decided, nah, no, you need to stop. I don't care about your government. You need to stop. Stop it right now. I'm Superman. You can't tell me no. And
Like,
it
what
does
if
really look
Superman
into.
just kind of snaps?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that causes him to snap, I can see why.
Yeah, I know enough about it just to be like, yeah, I understand.
But the characters are all done really well. It's really good versions of the characters. They're they're a lot of fun to watch interact and everything, and it's really well thought out. Like, what would happen if Superman started doing this? Well, Aquaman is in the ocean. Does Superman have jurisdiction over that? No. Would Aquaman even care? No. So there's gonna be some problems there. Yeah, it's fun. I'm gonna keep reading it. Then the only other thing of note is that I finished putting together my custodians, the 40k figures I have.
Hmm.
So now I just gotta prime them and then buy the paints, and I can start painting.
Nice.
So that's usually during if I'm listening to something and not or just want to just have something playing in the background, I'll put together some 40k figures, just to have something with my hands to do. But I don't have the paints for those yet, so I've needed something else in the meantime. So I went ahead and I bought some Skaven figures. I've been putting those together, putting together my little rats. So evil, I love them.
I love evil rats.
Dude, they're both they have the Skaven are so well written because they have the ability to be either disturbingly evil or comedically evil, and it works both ways.
Excellent.
There's a book, there's a Warhammer fantasy book I need to read where these two detectives who have like their own series of books, they're going trying to solve a mystery with some Skaven, and then at one point during the climax, one Skaven breaks away from the group and stumbles into a party in the Empire, and people think he's just wearing a costume, so he just hangs out and eats food.
He's just chilling.
It's chilling, which is the most Skaven thing to do. Like if they're just offering you free food, yeah, heck yeah, I'll take it. These stupid man things are gonna just give me free food. I'll take it. So yeah, I believe that is it for me, though.
Excellent.
Yeah, shorter podcast. It feels like we're missing something.
I know. A crucial part of ourselves.
No. Man. And that's how we ended it. We're in the outro now. Dude, I have to put together so many rants. There's you get like a Grey Seer who's like a wizard, you get a big old cannon, 3 giant rat ogres, and then 20 regular Skaven. It's a lot. The details are fantastic on the models. They're very quick to put together, so I can put together a bunch in a short amount of time, thankfully. I don't know how I'm gonna paint these, because like the custodians, it's just gold. You paint gold. But with these guys, there's so much more like little details, and then there's fur that I'm having to paint to make look good. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I might go up to the Warhammer store in Grapevine because they offer like free painting tutorials. Yeah, that's a cool place. I want to go up again sometime. And of course, if I ever want to play Warhammer Age of Sigmar, I have to get a lot more rats than this because Skaven is a horde faction.